Hello everybody and welcome to the second episode of Valheim. And I must admit I am, well, very happy with the responses we've had already on the first episode. But anyway, what are we going to do this episode? Now I've gone and pre-farmed a bunch of materials, and if possible there's two things I want to do. One is I want to extend part of my longhouse. So if we go to the inside and have a look, I want to first of all build a fireplace on the opposite side, and then I want to put a door through here into some kind of tower. But first of all, it's time to do some combat and some hunting. So the thing I want first here is I want a bow, so I need 8 leather scraps. Now, I have got some earlier, so we've got some scraps, so we'll do that. We'll get a bow. Excellent. We need a bunch of arrows, so let's make a bunch of arrows. Bum, 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 bum. And another lot. So we've got 70 arrows on us, and we have a bow. Hey, why not just do a little bit of cooking? I was going to show you cooking. So if you have meat on you and you target your cross piece, you can put 2 pieces of meat to cook. Now, beware. Don't leave them cook too long. When you hear a hiss noise, they're ready. If you miss that hiss noise and it makes a second hiss noise, you will get some charcoal. Now, obviously, you want to be creating charcoal later on with wood. But if you want to turn your meat into charcoal, yeah, feel free. So that's the hiss. So when I click on them now, boing, they're there. So let's cut the combat basics. Now, things that we can do is we can sneak. So, a bit of stealth. We can block. If we go and make a shield, we'll be able to block with our shield and not just the weapon we are using. We can dodge. Yeah, and of course we can attack. Now, there's the axe, there's a club, there's a spear as starting weapons. I mean, later on, obviously, you've got more weapons. But as your starting weapons, those are the ones you have to hand. I do kind of like using the axe myself for now. Right, okay, there's a load of bow. So we're going to equip the bow. Now, to shoot the bow, you just hold down the left mouse button, watch the reticule shrink, give it a bit of height until you think that's probably the distance, and then boom, look at that, straight in. Straight in, the poor thing didn't even know what hit him. Let's do that again. Get the reticule down, give it the height you think it probably needs, and boom. It's a bad guy, but there's also a lot of deer. So let's go into stealth. Oh, stealth with a bow. I think this guy's seen us, but we'll try and get him anyway. Oh, I missed. Let's just tag him. Come on. You try blocking. Get some blocking skill in. If he'll attack me, he might not now because he's so badly wounded. He's just like freaking out. There we go. Bit of blocking. I mean, maybe find yourself somewhere whereby there's a bunch of very easy monsters like this, a ton of them, and just stand there with a shield and get a load of blocking skill. Reminds me of playing something like Skyrim where you find mud crabs and you just train dodge and block and things on a bunch of mud crabs. Now, as with all these skills, it's a case of use them, use them, use them, use them. I don't want to over-emphasize that. So, let's just do that once more. Use them. Because you cannot overemphasize them. You're only going to gain increased damage with your bow skill if you're using it. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with literally spending several in-game days doing nothing other than walking the lands with a bow. Get yourself a load of arrows and just disappear off into the wilds. You can make yourself a campfire. Eat the meat that you've been farming. Get used to the distance on a bow. The angle of the shot. Get your skill up. Get a little bit of block skill off this guy. They have very tasty tails, by the way, so kill them and you can eat their tails. Yummy, yummy, yum. Nothing quite like a frog folk tail. That's what I say. Just wonder if I can get a sniping shot off one of these guys. It would be good for my archery skill if I got a hit on this. Can't even see them now. So when you've drawn like that and you don't want to shoot the arrow off, just press the right mouse button and it stops the shot. Grab a little food around you. Try not to fall down. If you fall down a hill, it can kill you. Okay, fall damage is a thing. Oh, excuse me, is a thing in this game, as well as things falling on you being a thing in this game. Now I've got to be careful because I know the Black Forest starts somewhere around this edge. Now the Black Forest is, it's kind of like a tier 2 zone. It's the next zone you would go to once you'd got everything mastered from this area. And I certainly am not kitted enough to go and play in the Dark Forest. There be trolls in there. Big trolls and other things. Just going to be a little bit wary. If it flashes up on my screen in a moment saying I've entered the Dark Forest, I'll probably just run away. Right, this here, this array of stones you can see here. A long stretch of stone. This is actually a burial area for a Viking longship. Now, we don't actually have... Oh, yeah, I can't even shut them. We don't have the tools necessary to dig here. We need to kill the first boss and get ourselves a pick. But when we do have the tools, this is the area we'll be looking for. We can dig here and maybe get a treasure chest. So, I mean, it's probably not a bad idea. I can show you something else. It's not a bad idea to come onto the map, press M, click on some kind of dot. You double left click where you are. You type in what you want and make yourself a little point. As you can see, I have a little point there saying boar that I spotted earlier on when I was playing. And this is a location whereby sometimes a lot of boar will spawn. It's got a standing stone there talking about boars, and quite often you can get half a dozen spawn around here. That's why I came straight here, hunting boar, but there aren't any here. I probably recently killed them. So let's go on in and we will put down the upgrades for this. Now we should have enough for both upgrades. Right, let's do it. So, the workstation is currently tier 1. Okay, it says 1 there. Now, to upgrade it to tier 2, what you want to be doing is putting down this guy. Yeah, the log with an axe in it. Now, it can only go a certain distance away from your workstation before it goes red. So, you have to be quite close. But you can... in fact, do it the other side of a wall. So we can actually place this outside. It's a nice exterior object, I think. It's not something really for indoors. So we'll plonk that down. And then let's go and have a quick look at our workstation. There we go. Lots of new things have popped up, but it says tier 2. We can see in here there are now fire arrows. There's a leather helmet. A lot of this other stuff is already here. We just haven't crafted it yet. But more than just this is we can go into upgrade, and things we currently have on us, we can now make better. So like nice easy one would be the flint axe I have. I can now make it tier 2. It does better damage. Yeah. But we can also go out, and we have the resources here, I do believe, to place... Oh, we need some deer hide and some wood. Let's go and get that sorted. Some deer hide and some wood. Deer hide and wood. Let's go and place the next upgrade available, which is the tanning rack. Likewise, we're going to post this outside. It looks quite pretty outside. There we go. Right. We now, if we go to the workbench, it'll say tier 3. As far as items go, rather than the rags, it's now saying leathers. I think that's probably about it as far as this side is concerned. And on the upgrades, we could yet again, if we had the bits and pieces, upgrade our flint axe to tier 3, or the bow to tier 2, etc, etc. Now, once we've got a nice piece of leather armor, and we've upgraded our primary equipment to tier 3, and we've got ourselves, you know, a nice leather helmet, which we'll do now, and get ourselves lots of fire arrows and whatever you're going to use, we can think about going to kill the first boss. So let's do the build piece. So the build piece I want to do is the tower. It's a lookout tower. It's a fighting platform tower. Start this off. Okay, well, I've kind of finished my build now, and ta-da! So I've done a little bit more than I just showed on the video. But let's give you a quick walkthrough. And yes, you're probably already looking at and saying, "Hang on, there's a flag up there. How has he got a flag if we're just using tier 1 tools?" Yeah, well, I'll show you how to get them in a minute. They're quite easy, actually, with tier 1 tools, so no problem. So first off, we have a little bit of a jetty, a dock. That's probably the hardest part. Oh, we've got an attack. Well, let's actually just deal with this. Now, when you get an attack, it's based off what current boss you are currently due to kill. And because we haven't killed the first boss yet, the things that are attacking my base are just some boars. And a few little frog folk dudes. I mean, it's hardly what I would call an attack. It's closer to free lunch than an attack. But later on, obviously, as you kill off more of the bosses, they'll be sending trolls and all kinds of stuff at your base. Thought that thing was supposed to be attacking. It's now run away. It's coming back for another... Oh, one behind me. They're trying to blank me. It's like free food time. It's when your lunch comes to you. Okay, right. Now, before I was so rudely interrupted, I was going to show you the dock and the wharf and that. So, here we have the dock. This is probably the hardest of the builds currently on this little tier 1 building. Because trying to support beams, this is just beach. Trying to support beams out into the water is tough. Now, you can obviously terraform the sea up a little bit to try and make this a lot easier for yourselves. But I want to just make a dock whereby we just make a jetty straight out, no matter how deep the water is. So just putting some underneath support to allow that to happen. Right, okay. Let's get on with having a quick look at the build. So we made the tower. It's got a little chimney. Now this is a little lookout tower. Let's go up there. Bum, 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 bum. So we have a lookout tower. That has little platforms we can stand on so that if our building is getting attacked, I can actually see down and shoot things at the base of the tower if I needed to. But in general, it's a nice little lookout tower. I can stand up here, do a bit of hunting. I've also got ladders now to access across the top of the roof. I've got another little ladder that gives me access to this part of the roof, should I need to. Now, they go green because they're not covered by a roof and they rot down to 50%. Little log piles. So let's have a quick look at the interior first. I have added various joist structures to the roof to make that look a lot more realistic. It's nice. Now I've added a lot of internal cross beaming, framing on the doors, increased the size of the doors to the larger doors. Blocked underneath these side pieces now. I framed the fire, double framed, walled the fire in fact, so this wall is now double thick, as you can see on the window, with a single frame on the fire to give it a recess. Outside I've added extra lining going across, because if you just leave your building with just stacks of these base wooden walls, it doesn't look good. So some cross beaming, and if you look on the tower, it's blocked side beams, cross beams, blocked all the way around to give that a better look. I think it's just about to become nighttime, so we'll carry on and look at this in a moment. Yeah, so there's little side beams, cross beams, blocks above windows, little blocks and covers above the door here, little porch. I've also done a little block framing at the base of the walls to make it so that it sits in nicer with try to get a better angle, nicer with the ground. So anywhere where things aren't quite even, you should see the blocking at the bottom. I mean, a lot of this stuff, you don't need supports or anything for this structure, but adding them just adds a bit more interest to the building. There's not a lot of options, especially at tier 1, for you to use for building. You're quite limited on what furnishings you have. But yeah, with a little bit of, you know, extra work, you can add some extra blocking in that makes the tier 1 build a bit more interesting. Okay, so you're probably saying, come on, Baron, how did you get that flag without cheating? And it's quite simple. Let me show you. So I have one prepared earlier. So first things first, we can look at the fact that this here is a beach log. We cannot cut beach logs. If I try and cut a beach log, it says it's too hard. I'll explain how I end up with logs on the floor in a moment, but let me show you how to break a beach log. So I can't cut it, okay? Or what I can do is, so let's kill this guy. Is we walk it up a hill and I think maybe one more. Don't get yourself crushed. And we have a little beach. So if you bash them into other objects, they will break and you can collect the wood. It's as simple as that. So although your tool is not capable of knocking down a birch tree, another tree is more than capable of knocking down the birch tree. Oh, try not to get yourself killed. Should let the log maybe. And there you go. Fantastic. So it's a nice easy way to get tier 2 wood if you want to make some objects out of the birch. And that will allow you to make tables, chairs, flags. You can't make the one banner without going to the Black Forest to get blueberries. But you can make the red and white one. So you can make that one. So there you go. I'm hoping you enjoy the series so far. What's going to happen now is Saturday coming, I will be streaming the next episode on Twitch live, and during that episode we will go and kill the first boss, go and do some hunting around the Black Forest, going to do some little undead skeleton crypts. I'll show you how to do a beehive, all that kind of stuff. So if you can, tune in on Saturday on my Twitch channel and we will have some fun. So thank you very much, everybody. I'm hoping you like and subscribe the series, and I will see you all for more. Bye now.